Hello and welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing as it helps out the channel, and give this video a like if you do like it. Joining me for this review is my good friend Steph Stilley. Say hi.
Hi everyone.
So this was released in 1946, it's the 466th in the series, and it's directed by Friz Freleng. You can find this on the Looney Tunes Golden Collection Volume 5 DVD set, and on the HBO Max streaming service. And because of copyright, I can't show you the full cartoon here, so just a brief synopsis in case you haven't seen this one. So essentially, a cobbler is sick, as you can see right here, and so these little elves just pop out and they start fixing his shoes, and it's all time to the music, which is what really this cartoon is all about. Now, this was originally recorded as an audio commentary, which I had to take down due to a request from Warner Brothers Legal. So this was a remix of that commentary, plus there's also a little surprise from my good friend Manny Cruz. Enjoy. But Steph's requested this, and I'm glad, because this one is definitely very musically themed.
The title is a pun on a popular song at the time called Holiday for Strings, which is written by David Rose. And the composers you mainly hear in this are Frédéric Chopin, Johann Strauss, and Pyotr Tchaikovsky, with a little bit of Liszt and Mendelssohn thrown in. And yeah, it's a really great cartoon. I always associate this one with like a winter time for some reason. Well, this song right here is from the Nutcracker Suite. It's called the Arabian Dance by Tchaikovsky. And during the ice skating sequence, we heard the Grand Valse Brilliant, Opus 18 by Frédéric Chopin. And the music that keeps playing during this running gag is Humoresque in G by Tchaikovsky. Carl Stalling really liked that cue a lot. He used it a lot in the iWork stuff back in the 30s.
Yeah, by this point, a lot of directors, they would do a few of the, the famous characters like Bugs Bunny and Daffy and so on, but they would also be free to do their own little side one-shots or, odds and ends. And it's interesting how Friz would come back to this theme a few times where, he would just a Fantasia-esque, if you will, sort of short where we just get these pop, songs and just, animate to it. As we see a wartime reference here, which, even though the war had ended, there was a bit of a backlog, so some of these cartoons were still coming out with outdated war-related references, although people would have still understood the joke. I keep pointing this out many a time on these particular shorts, but that Friz has done, but the timing is just incredible.
Yeah, up to this point, this is probably the best it's gotten so far as like timing it to songs. It's really amazing. And
we see, of course, one half of one of my favorite comedy duos, of course, Laurel and Hardy. He literally paints his tongue, of course. My first exposure to the Nutcracker, which is featured here, was, of course, in Fantasia. And a lot of the critics at the time were complaining about it. And here, I'm wondering how they would feel about this cartoon, because they would butcher it even more. In terms of how they cut it up.
Well, I think they criticized Disney more because I think they probably expected more from Disney, Whereas with, like, Warner Brothers, it's like, it doesn't really matter. They can just do whatever they want.
But, I will say, when I was listening to Daniel Goldmark's commentary, I like when we went back to these two guys, he would say, we're back to these two idiots again. And that just made me laugh. And I'm looking at the green shoe, and just the amount of effort that these elves are putting in. Just like, could they just build a new shoe?
Yeah, true. We've got a gag that's been reused from like Lights Fantastic, and Meatless Fly Day right now.
Yeah, hey,
cool
if there's a great gag, why not? Yeah. It's great. It's beautiful.
I'm sure it was
probably my favorite part of the short.
Yeah, I'm sure it saved a lot of money too, because it didn't require as much animation.
And I like the ending. Just how he just decides he's just going to sneak out and play golf. Just typical Looney Tunes thing. So the whole thing is based off a story that has been done so many times in many cartoon studios. There would always be at least one cartoon where the elves are helping out some poor shoemaker or whatever, and and that's that. So, and then there's so many of them that are probably take me a long time just to mention them all.
Tex Avery did one a few years later at MGM called the Peachy Cobbler. It kind of reminds me a bit of this one.
Hello there, Anthony's Animation Talk. This is Manny Cruz, the Toonie Tenor, coming at you. Just a few quick thoughts about Holiday for Shoestrings. It's a personal favorite cartoon of mine. I am, of course, inclined to favor some of the musical cartoons that the Warner Brothers studio created. Lots of great stuff in this cartoon, and it's just a nice smorgasbord of different music, especially the music of Strauss, Chopin, and in particular Tchaikovsky. And it's very appropriate that I'm watching this cartoon again right around the holiday season, where Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker is played a lot and also performed in ballets. I highly, highly recommend that you listen to not only Anthony's commentary as well as what Steph Stilley said, but also the Daniel Goldmark commentary on the Looney Tunes Golden Collection. I believe it's Volume 5. And one last thing, the scene where you have the two elves fighting over the nail and you hear some of Tchaikovsky's music. Man, oh man, that scene never fails to make me laugh. It is some of the best stuff that the studio ever made. Again, Friz Freleng, when it comes to musical cartoons, the best, the master at the studio. And I know that this reminds me of other cartoons with a similar theme of the Shoemaker and the Elves. One in particular that comes to my mind is 1950s Peachy Cobbler, directed by Tex Avery, but I'm going to have to say I prefer this one. This cartoon is definitely, I'd give it a 9 out of 10, one of my personal favorites. Thank you once again, everyone. Have a great day and a wonderful holiday season.
And speaking of ratings, since I didn't do them at the time of the audio commentaries, look, I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. I find these musical ones to be not among my favourites, but they are so darn impressive to see, especially with Friz and his timing and how he would just match everything, the action to the music. It's just an incredible thing to see, but it's not laugh out loud funny, so that's why I give it a slightly lower rating. And I confirmed with Steph, she gives this one a 9 out of 10, and well, is that really surprising? Probably not, so there you go. Any final thoughts on it?
No, really wonderful cartoon. One of Friz's best from the mid-40s.
Yep, as we see one of them go to golf, and I've definitely gained a new appreciation for this one as well. So thanks very much for listening, guys, and until next time, take care.